Gonna just kind of get some things set up here. Hey Jay, what's up? I'm just trying to figure out how to get this to cross over so I can watch on the other screen for the live chats. Hey Jeff from 2X, what's up? I invited a guest on here, and this is a new feature on YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a try. But but since I haven't done this before with this new StreamYard style live stream, it's going to take me a little bit. Rapid Transit said he's heading out Wednesday morning. I'm going to be heading out Wednesday morning as well with Ryan. So those of you guys have subscribed to Ryan Barsness on YouTube. Me and him are going to be going down together. I got one more day to work. I work Tuesday night, and then after Tuesday night, when I get off work, I'm going to swing down, pick up Ryan, and he'll drive the first part of the trip. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit of sleep. I don't think we'll roll in till about like 11 o'clock at night, probably on Wednesday, but be there all day for Thursday. Hoping to get text pretty soon. Hey, dude, Mopar. Looking forward to seeing your cornet there. We're going to have to get a picture of all the cornets together. Yeah, I'm really sorry Adam's not going to be making it this year. It was really cool seeing him out there last year. My chat keeps disappearing. No, I don't think John Wilburn's going to let us do any passes down the track on Thursday, unfortunately. I was really hoping there would be too, because hold on a second. I think I found what I was looking for. There it is. Now I can see my chat. Okay. So yeah, I think John Wilburn said Thursday is only going to be just tech only, and then we got the events of going to Lambert's, and then we're going to go to then the showing of the Smokey and the Bandit movie. I wish we could make some test passes. That'd be nice. Blake's in the chat. All right, dude, Mohar. I'll look forward to that. And he said his wife's got something for me, so I hope it's a skunk ape. just a little one to start with to keep Nefati a bit happy. Someone to talk to. All right, Blake. Talk to you later. Blake must be on the road somewhere, but see if I can catch up on some of the chats here. Looks like people are saying hello to each other. Hey, Nathan's Mopar Garage. Glad to have you here tonight. So Jeff showed that community post of them working on Rowdy in on YouTube there. There he is. There's one of them. I invited Jeff and Chris Testa to join me here today. Can you guys see Chris in there? One of them. I invited Jeff and Chris Testa to join me here today. Can you guys see Chris in there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I invited Jeff There we go. Is there
There
anyone
we
else
go.
getting an echo?
I turned my computer off, Mark,
Oh, okay.
because I'm on my phone right here now. So
So, I was going to do a live here, and then this creepy Chevy guy started kind of trying to get in on it. So I figured I better let him in before he goes crazy on me.
oh, wow, crazy GM guy, huh?
Yeah. So a lot of you guys, if you don't subscribe to Chris Testa, he's driving his 69 Firebird all the way down from Pennsylvania down to the event. He was there last year with Useful Entertainment. They were the guys in that Buick station wagon. They had driven that all the way down there as well. So, but yeah, this is like the new feature that YouTube offers. I didn't know about it till Blake was saying something on one of his videos how YouTube was going to set this up, and I guess probably to kind of compete with StreamYard.
Oh,
StreamYard was the
really?
StreamYard was the only reason I was going to buy a computer. But then every time I got computer money, I spent it on car parts.
Oh,
So I never got to
jeez.
get a computer. And then we changed our internet too. Used to have kind of a slower internet, so it was kind of hard to even have an idea of doing one of these lives.
Hmm.
But Chris, you're leaving what tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow evening.
Okay.
I'm coming home from work. I'm gonna nap for a little bit, and I'm probably gonna roll out of here about 6.
Yeah.
And I'll probably try and go as far as I can, and then stop for the night, and then wake up the next morning and run the rest of the way in. So
Yeah. I see
I just
Smoke Garage in the chat there, but yeah.
so I'm hoping I won't have any car issues. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to button up all kinds of goofy issues with things, and it's just been a pain trying to get things
What's the
done.
long
What's that?
What's the longest distance you've driven it so
Oh,
far? What's the longest distance you've driven it so far?
I've driven it to Ocean City, Maryland, and back. I
Yeah.
did that last year and drove it
Okay.
there and
How
back.
far is that?
That's probably about 200 or 300,
Okay.
probably a little bit more than 200 miles.
Yeah.
And then I went up to see a friend of mine up in the Poconos over Labor Day. That was about 225 miles round trip. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I had to swap out the shocks last night because I had some real stiff KYBs on it, and I took them off because it rode like a lumber wagon. So I took those off, and the tire keeps on scraping on the driver's side. I already trimmed the lip out,
Yeah.
and I can't really go much further because we're getting into uh, getting into the spot weld. So
Yeah. Yeah.
last night I got underneath and I stuck the stiff shocks back on, so now the back end hardly even moves.
That'll be a fun ride,
So
huh?
so hopefully that'll give us some tire clearance and we won't have any issues.
Yeah.
And then it keeps, for some reason, it crankcase pressurizes at RPMs, and we can't figure it out. Driving it, that's not a blow by issue because driving, if it had a blow by issue, it'd be puking oil out of the breather all the time, and it isn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't smoke. It doesn't use oil. It just, for some reason, when you get it up in RPMs, it's just pushing it out the breather. And Pontiacs don't have a baffle in the valve cover, so they have like some sort of goofy bracket inside, and it's just a hole right down to the rockers. So we put a washer in there to try and make a baffle for it, and we tacked it in and welded up the hole in it, hoping
Yeah.
that would work. But I took it out Saturday, and it still blew some oil out of the breather at highway
Yeah.
speed. But I cleaned it up, and then I drove it the rest of the night, and I didn't have any problems. So I don't know what's. I wrapped the rag around it and zip tied it tonight. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Well, the valve
But
covers on the back pine always kind of weep a little bit around the gaskets too. So when I first started up over on the passenger side, I always get a little bit of smoke where it's burning off whatever
oh,
dribble.
just seeping out of the covers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is actually
Everything else.
coming out of the breather. It's actually
Oh,
pushing out the breather and then blowing back on the firewall and everything.
yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with it. I checked the oil in it and it hasn't dropped any. So I don't know if it's just building vapor up. The PCV valve's good. I pulled that out last Saturday when I got back when I saw it do it, I pulled the PCV valve out, and it's free, and I sprayed some carb cleaner in it, but it was clean, and I stuck it back in. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with it, so we'll see what happens. So
Yeah. And Ryan, I was looking on here. I'm trying to figure out how I'd be able to send a link from here because on my screen it's got just me and Chris, and then I'm doing this on my phone, and the chat, each individual chat is kind of popping up by itself, kind of quick for me to read. So I set up my iPad over here on this side so that I can kind of keep an eye on the chat. But with my technical savvy, I'm kind of worried about I'll lose the feed if I try to do anything more on my hit buttons to see if there's a way to do it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of come on here. I know, we're all probably getting ready for the event, and just thought it'd be fun to kind of see what's going on. I worked Wednesday through yesterday, so had today off. Pretty much slept all day. Had to swap trailers, get Jeff his trailer back, and then go get the one that I'm going to be bringing to No Name. I was going to load the jack pine up today, but I fell asleep and I didn't wake up till about an hour ago.
oh, geez, you're
Yeah,
working tomorrow night yet, right?
yeah, I work tomorrow night, but that'll be fine. I got time before I go. I don't go to work till 7 p.m., so I'll just load the truck up and take one of my wife's cars to work if I
So what
can.
time do you get out of work then? 7 the next morning.
Yeah, well, 7:30 is when I usually get off, and then it usually takes me. I usually get home around 8:15 or so, and I pretty much have everything other than the car loaded up. So I'm
So
not
you're
taking
gonna.
as last year I took like the kitchen sink and had the whole inside of my truck all filled up with stuff. But this year, I know to take quite a bit less actually.
Yeah.
Just to like a jack stands, taking a tool kit, taking fuel. But sounds like I told John I'm going to reserve some gas there at the track too, just in case I need it. And then that's kind of it. Yeah.
So you're rolling out about 8:30 Wednesday morning.
Yeah, and then Ryan lives about 25 miles from me, but he's in the right direction. He's going south, so I'll swing by, pick him up, and then I might wind up pulling one of my no sleep marathons again.
Oh,
Seems to
so
be the case.
you probably won't get there till probably late Wednesday night then.
Yeah, I was thinking we're probably going to get there like 11 o'clock. That's what I'm thinking. If in a perfect world we get out of Ryan's house at like let's say 9:30, we could be there by 9:30 at night. Because it's about 11, 12 hours there. It's a little over 11 hours for us. But yeah,
Well,
it's gonna.
I'll probably be in the motel room in bed.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. I'll find a way to entertain myself. I'll cruise around town, see what's going on. I never got any further through. The furthest I got was Jay's Chicken Shack.
yeah. I got to see a little bit of the town because I spent a lot of Saturday morning driving around looking to buy like an overflow bottle of some kind for the jack pine when I was having issues and stuff. So that was a waste of time. I wound up just doing a water bottle. So I lost like almost 2 hours driving around all the different auto parts stores there.
Just screwing around trying to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like even the spark plugs I bought at one of those places turned out to be the wrong ones. They might have worked with cast iron heads, but not the aluminum heads. And
Oh, that's right. Because you have Edelbrock heads on that, don't you?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they got something different.
Mm.
Take a different plug.
But man, I learned don't let your car sit for a year before you just dust it off to take it to an event. The Jack Pine was happy sleeping. It sounds like with everything that was thrown at me. No,
What
but
is
yeah,
this?
I spent about
Oh,
$600 on radiators this last month.
jeez. Did you finally get one in there that's not going to leak?
Yeah, and then since I worked all weekend, I was shuttling the car between my house and Jeff's shop, and um, Jeff had ordered the isolators, but he said we could probably get by with a little short ones. So now my radiator's actually kind of back uh, toward the engine a little bit farther. But since I don't have a fan, it's no real big issue. But I'll probably order some insulators. They're like about a half inch thick now. Um, the ones on there now are about an inch,
You
but
can get
I
the
think we got it solved. I think it's going to hopefully keep the radiator where it's not going to flex hard enough to crack. Plus, this is a little bit different radiator.
Mhm.
So we had the one in the jack pine that one cracked, and then I bought that one with the shroud that I put in there. Um, so anyway, then when that one cracked, Jeff loaned me the one out of his car, which is the exact same radiator. So he put it in there, and then it cracked in pretty much the same spot. So I ordered that radiator, and it said it would have been here Monday, which is today. But of course, like, you know how it goes. Once you order it, then it says it's not going to get here till like the 21st or 22nd.
Of course.
But but I owe Jeff a radiator anyway, so that one's going to him to replace the one that I cracked to his. And then I called Gary, my engine builder, and he knew of a place up in Isanti, Minnesota, that builds radiators. And this one's a two core. The others were three core, and this one's made to look more like a stock radiator, and it's got the bigger cores. So some people say that's supposed to cool better than like a three core or four core when you have the bigger cores circulating through the
Yeah, it's
radiator.
got the big, like, 1.5-inch tubes in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the isolators that, and then we put my shroud off of the one that I ordered. Jeff made that work with there by making some spacers and stuff, and it'll get us through no name nationals for sure. And then there's some things that we probably, do a little different to it. But yeah, we set it on the trailer. We never took it off when I took it to his place, and we ran it for quite a while. And I think the combination of me putting in the thermostat and then, getting things set up, it sat there right at 190 running. That's why I made that last video. We were just running it to see, if it was going to heat up. It's doing pretty good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
And then I
good.
little gas can. I was talking to Tom, the guy that was the original owner of the car, one of the brothers that raced it, and he said that his dad got that. It's almost like in a little industrial metal tank. Pretty cool story, but I think that was kind of where some of that rust was coming from that was gunking up my carburetor. So,
Oh, okay.
so we cleaned the filter, and then Jeff had a spare fuel cell, and it's a bigger fuel cell too, which is good for me since I forget to fill it sometimes. So he also, while I was working, he put the fuel cell in the middle where it was before. Then he moved my battery over on the passenger side of the trunk so that weight distribution, but still. So he kind of rearranged things, rewired some stuff in the back, and then
Well,
I
that's good.
bypassed that breaker on my fan switch because sometimes it would kick my fans out, and I wouldn't notice until I looked. It was just this little pop out breaker. So I bypassed that with a fuse, and then so they haven't shut off on me accidentally yet. So hopefully I got that fixed.
Hmm, that's cool. So now you're pretty much set, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I got cooling fixed, and then you know, and you got to give kudos to Jeff, man. I mean, the guy's doing everything he can to get me
Yeah, he's
there.
been busting his butt trying to get your car done and back together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because I met the guy by buying some headers from him, and then we kept talking, and then he watched my video when me and Cullen took my car to Brainerd that time, and when we launched, he was watching the suspension work, and he's, hey, we need to do something about your suspension, and then from that point on, we took the jack pine, which the fastest I ran at Brainerd was like an 11:28, I think, and as soon as we switched over the super stock springs, the lighter weight ones, and just a couple of tweaks, and the first pass, he made the first pass in the car after the suspension changes, and the first pass was a 680 flat. That's pretty much the fastest time the car ever ran. So kind of shows you if a skilled driver was driving it. you know?
You'll get there.
Yeah, I'm
Takes time.
trying to read some of the comments here, guys, but I'm old and I don't have glasses, so
I'm kind of
But
scanning through them. It pops up on my phone and covers
yeah,
us up. You can't see nothing.
I've got my iPad here and I'm kind of read through them. I like what Blake said there. His wife blew a bunch of money on food and stuff. So, uh, but yeah, man, I envy being able to actually drive your car that distance. Though, I'm kind of stuck where none of my cars are reliable enough to take them on a nice long road trip.
Well, here's hoping I don't have any issues. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, it runs good. I had it out. We did a cruise Saturday night down in Lebanon. They have they used to have a circuit down there. So once a month they have a Lebanon cruise night, and
Mm.
everybody kind of relives the circuit type deal.
Yeah.
So I was down there cruising around. I mean, it runs good. It's just I don't know. The tire thing is that's a weird Pontiac deal because the rear end and that's actually an inch wider than a Camaro. So and
Like I always thought that the engines were different, but everything else was compatible between Chevy and all the different makes. But evidently not, huh?
no, it's got the Pontiac rear is actually it's an inch wider, half inch on each side. So what tire wheel and tire combo fits on a Camaro doesn't fit on a Firebird,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks ass. And yeah, there's a lot of weird, different. That whole it's just like a Camaro is all bullshit because I found out the hard way. So
Yeah, you know the right offset. That's
yeah,
why part of the reason Jeff with my Belvedere, he kept saying you got to get the wheels, and I'm like, what? What wheels you running? You got to get the wheels, and I'm like, well, I'm going to run a 15 by 12. It has this. He said, no, you have to have them. We're going to be chopping your rear end to fit in the car, you know.
yeah, you got to have everything there.
And I'm
That's
like,
for
well,
sure.
but Jeff, they cost money.
I only have a 7-inch wheel on the back of that, and it still doesn't freaking fit. And I'm like, it's like ridiculous. And it's aggravating because the only other way you could do it is if you get a. I'm walking upstairs to get the phone charger, so bear with
Okay,
me. So,
good. Blake waxed their cars, so they're getting into the Bigfoot and show cars craze.
oh, I waxed my Firebird too
Yeah,
for the first time.
yeah,
But but yeah, it's just aggravating because then you go with a custom offset wheel. That's you're talking it's 500 or 600 bucks a wheel, and it's like, oh, Christ, I don't have
yeah.
that kind of
Well,
money.
and then too, he's like, yeah, I couldn't just get the wheel; I needed the tires.
Well, yeah, you need the whole thing. You need it
Yeah.
all.
And I wanted to run the M&A drag radials because I already have a slick car, and I figured that one's going to kind of be a street machine, even though it's kind of blown into more of looking like a drag car. And those M&H radials that are the same size as the slicks that I was going to run on the car were $528 a piece.
Ooh,
I bought the
man,
300. I bought the $300 a piece slicks.
jeez,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, Roosters, Ristos is in the chat. He's another Minnesotan here. He's got a pretty cool collection. He's another he has a 66 or 67 Cornet, and he's
Oh,
got
okay.
Charger. He's got Roadrunner and stuff. So pretty cool guy. He also reached out to me when I was scrambling to get a radiator and let me know about that place in Isanti. It was the same place that Gary uses, so kind of
Okay.
helped me get a radiator. So
I'm just reading down through the chat here a little bit.
yeah. This year I thought, oh man, like I know everything I need to do to the jack pine. If you would ask me in the spring, it's yep, I'm going to order my new drive shaft, new U joints, because it's my rear differential has the 1350 yoke, so I got the conversion yoke, and it's got the factory heavy drive shaft with the counterbalancer in there, and the front one's just a stock yoke and stock U joint. So I was going to go 1350 front and back, so I could maybe try to use the trans brake. Um, I was going to get brand new slicks. Let's see what else. But anyway, you have all these ideas like, man, I'm going to have the car all bulletproof and ready to go. But then we wound up working on the Belvedere. And when I finally busted out the jack pine, that carburetor worked okay at No Name Nationals last year. Um, and ever since I'd picked it up at Coup de Dan's out of storage, the carburetor had been kind of fighting me. The needle and seats were sticking. And what we found out the problem with that carburetor was the power valve was leaking too. And it's only got the one power valve. And Jeff swapped it out when we built the carburetor in his shed. Or a shop. He's just grabbing from his parts bin. So he just threw one of his power valves in there. It turns out when I got it home, that power valve was leaking. So that's when he offered up to let me use his quick fuel carb. It's an 850, and it had pretty much the same jets and everything. So I'm going to be running pretty much with a borrowed carburetor and everything.
Well, what for carb was on that before? Was that an 850 on it before?
No, it was a Holly 950.
Oh, that was a 950 you had on it.
Yeah, we're going to take it and we're going to get it like sonic cleaned and everything, and we'll know what jets pretty much to put in it, based on the jet or the carb that's in it now. But mine's got like the 30 cc pumps, and this one's got, is it 50 cc's? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, the big pumps.
So his 850 has the bigger pumps and it has a little bit bigger squirters, but the jets are the same. So one of the things I want to do when we get to No Name is I'm going to put the new spark plugs in it, and then when we run it after the first pass, we'll take a look at those. And I've got a jet kit now, so we can see if maybe we can go up or down on the jets. We never got a chance to tune it because both of us kept having problems with our cars.
Now,
When we,
what for jets are you running in that 850 now?
what's that?
What for jets are you running in the 850 now?
I want to say like 82, and then, well, maybe it's 84. 84 in the front, like 92 or so. He said there's an eight jet split between the front and the back. So like
Okay.
it's 84 in the front and then like 94 or so in the back.
Mm.
Uh, But he said if you don't run the other power valve, you're supposed to have that split. So
Yeah, usually if you don't run a secondary power valve, they tell you to run what 6 to 10 jet sizes more, roughly in that area.
and thanks to him,
So
I feel a little bit more comfortable about doing that kind of stuff.
yeah, the carburetors aren't hard, not at
I
all.
overwhelmed by him, and then I bought that Holly book. I even bought David Vizard's book, and I was reading through them, and they're talking about all those little passages and emulsification and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh! But really, there's what, one, two, three, about four things you're really ever messing with. It's like, well, why didn't you just say that?
Yeah,
you know, mess with the needle and seats. Change your power valve, change your jets. That's about as most I'm ever gonna do.
yeah. Because I mean, that's about all you really do is you just mess with the jetting, and usually if you get into that other stuff, it's you're doing some serious mods.
Yeah, and
You
you
know.
better know because
Yeah.
yeah, I do. But yeah, Jed was saying he runs a 4 point, or Blake was saying he runs a 4.5 power valve. I think mine's a 6.5. I'm not sure. He's running 75s front and 85s in the back. Yeah, but Blake, that from what you started with, you probably a lot better off. And then like you said, if you got the perfect platform to go stroker. Yeah, some stuff going on, but anyway, like I said, man, I need to get readers. It's really bad at work too.
That's what
Files
I
are,
have on now. I have my readers on.
and some of those are kind of critical. They kind of want me to know what I'm actually giving.
Yeah. I can't see this bottle, but I'll just shove the needle in it anyways.
It looks cool enough.
Yeah, it's the right color. It's clear.
There's no such thing as close enough where I work. Uh,
Oh man.
but yeah, I just wanted to get on here and like for everybody who's going to No Name Nationals, just say, hey, I can't wait. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you again. I remember me and Dizzy Izzy, got a chance to sit down and talk. We got to talk Bigfoot for a while while we were there. He gave me a T-shirt. Thanks, Dizzy. Man, I really appreciate that. That was cool. I wear that shirt. Problem is, you can actually see it in some of my videos when we were working on the Belvedere. So it's got a couple of weld burn holes in it and a little bit grimier than when you gave it to me. But thanks, Dizzy. I appreciate the shirt.
Mm.
Uh,
Have you put out any more Bigfoot videos, Mark?
We were supposed to go. We got that cabin on like the Canadian border up there. Ryan Barsness's friend at the car show gave me like some information about it. It's like a Canadian guy lived there for 4 years out back in the woods, and he was afraid to go out at night unless he was armed to the teeth. And this guy bought it from him. Nobody's been up there since 2017, and he told me when I got a hold of the guy, he told me some other like Bigfoot local stories from people that he knew, which is cool. And we were all set to go, but I started having trouble with the jack pine trying to get it ready for the No Name Nationals here, and then Andy had a bunch of stuff come up, and so and plus when we did the first one, there were so many mosquitoes and ticks, it was just horrible.
Oh
So we're like,
man.
we're gonna go later in the fall because this is like right in the bog. It's um, kind of like near a swamp, but it's also like near a lake and it's pretty thick forest. But there's moose and deer and bear and stuff up there. So and it's back a ways too. We're gonna have to bushwhack our trail back to it. It sounds like, but the guy's
Oh
pretty cool.
geez.
Let's go up there. Anytime we want, just let him know.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Get out there and do some wood knocking and see if you can get some
Yeah.
return knocks back.
Well, that was crazy because I put up that video, and for like 2, 3 weeks or so, it was just sitting there, not doing anything, like 128 views. And when I stepped on that nail and wound up having to go into the hospital with antibiotics, I pulled it up and looked at it, and it was like, holy cow, 300 views. So then I was doing something, and then I looked at it again, and it was up to 900 views. And I'm like, what the hell? So it must have caught an algorithm, and boom, straight up to 13,000 views.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, we got to get something else out there. We got to put something else on that channel, keep feeding it. But yeah, we had big plans, but we'll get out there. Hopefully, like once I'm back from No Name Nationals, I'm pretty much putting all the car stuff away, and then got to catch up on some house stuff, and then me and Andy will go out there. So it'll be pretty fun.
I get back from the No Name Nationals. I go back to work for 4 days, and then I load the Chevelle up and drive the Mississippi for cruising the coast.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's another 1,000 miles of driving going south instead of west.
You kind of
So
just power tours, Chris. Just
I'm telling you, man, I'm
you're one
just
of those
really
you're one of those guys that looks at power tour like, what's so special about
well. I
it?
remember when the long haul on the power tour was when you went from California to New York. Now
Wow.
it's like this
That
sissy thing of where you only run about 1,500 miles. Well, it used to be you ran from one side of the country to the other side of the country, and that's what Power Tour was. And then they did that for about 5 years, and then they changed it. Then they had an East Coast and a West Coast one, and
Mhm.
then they changed it to what they got now. So when you
Yeah.
see long haul Power Tour from like the early 90s or mid 90s when they did it, and it says long haul, well, they really did a long haul.
Well, I
So.
know Cherry Racing and Blake did that six summer thing that's kind of up here north by us, and
Mhm.
that if I could get the Belvedere, would be able to participate in an event like that. Um, Gary hates the idea. He thinks it's silly, but I would like to try to maybe if we do get the blower engine, like run it on E85, so it would run cooler and stuff too, and then I would love to do like an overdrive transmission. Cullen, the guy that put the engine in the jack pine for me last year, he had that '69 Roadrunner, and he had made it up 518 to his 440, and so it had the overdrive because he had like 430 gears in the back of that Roadrunner, and having that overdrive is pretty nice. I know like Jay from Rabbit Transit, he runs a 518 in his Dart as well, so that's something I'm looking at. But I know Cope's conversion uh, plate to mount that transmission to a big block's like $700 by itself.
Ooh, I
Cullen
don't know.
Cullen did something different, but it still in the long run wound up costing him almost that much more. Plus, then you got to get the right converter type thing for it too. And but yeah, I mean, if I could do the 518, behind that blower engine, then I'd be able to go do something like that. And that's kind of the plan with that car, to be something where I could drive around. And the engine we're
How's
building not crazy, so it's not
yeah?
like
How's the 518 on strength though?
it's
Are they?
basically a seven with the overdrive is the way I understand it. So it's supposed to
Oh,
be
is it?
so it's as supposed to be as strong as a 727.
Hmm.
And I watched John Cope's video where he compared, gear vendors versus the 518, and um, uh, I like the sounds of the 518 better than the gear vendors. But like Cope said, if you already have the 518, it's you know, if you already have a built transmission, stay with the gear vendors. The only other transmission I have is well, I've got two. I got a core, and then I got the original reverse manual valve body out of the jack pine, but that one needs to be gone through. So, so I'm like, well, I've already got the 727. Do you spend $2,500 to $3,000 on a gear vendors, or do you spend that much building a 518? But
Yeah.
he did a comparison, and the 518 actually has a better overdrive.
Then the
Um,
gear vendors does.
yeah,
Okay. Hmm.
but I know like the guys with the gear vendors on those super high horsepower things, they can split their gears, so it kind of makes their transmission, if it was a 3 speed, into a 6 speed. So that the multiplication and stuff like that kind of contributes to their times. So, but I'm not going to be in that class, so I'm never going to see that benefit.
No, you just want overdrive so you can drive it, which is kind of a nice thing to have.
Smoke Wrench Garage has got to go. Hey, man, I'm really hoping I see you there, but if not, I got to see you again sometime.
Rooster just said about putting the jack pine on the street and going balls out with the Belvedere.
Yeah, I mean that engine, the jack pine, should run okay on 93, and put mufflers on it. But
Well, I told you what I'm going to do when we trade.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I just got to find a center chunk to get home and stuff headlights in it.
yeah. I think the buckets are still back there behind. So you could. Andy was looking into it because he was thinking about taking the car street racing at some point. So he was going to put headlights in it, and it's got little LED front turn signals that you work with a toggle switch um, on the front, and it's got brake lights and turn signals in the back. So, I mean, a lot of that wiring's still there for now. Yeah, and Rooster was talking about like making this 63 full out, and he mentioned Jeff, so Mopar Jeff 604, is a bad influence on me because, Gary, my 83-year-old engine builder, he's always given me the same story when I ask him where the engine's at as far as being done. And Jeff's like, I've got a block. Let's just take it to my machinist and get it ready, and then, put the blower on there. And of course, then he's like, but let's stroke it to 540 cubic inches and let's.
Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden, the whole time he's saying all this, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I keep forgetting the whole purpose of wanting to build the car in the first place. Next thing you know, I'll be sitting next to his 950 horsepower Duster, with alcohol injection
And there
so
goes the purpose of the car.
yeah,
Just
so it's kind
yeah,
of effective. Because the engine Gary's building, he's waiting on Eagle rods for it, and he's doing press fit for the pistons that he got, and they're forged pistons, and it's a 440 forged crank. It's a stock stroke engine, but getting those press fit Eagle rods, everyone wants the other ones.
floating pistons.
He
Yeah.
wants, so they have those all over the place. And he said the first set that they sent him were actually the floating ones, so he had to send them back. So as soon as he gets those rods, at least it's just gonna be a 440 with beefed up inner parts and that. And
Why doesn't he
get
want to run the floating pistons or the full floaters?
what's that?
Why doesn't he just want to run the floating pin?
I don't know. Still on the Pistons, but he has like a set compression ratio and stuff he wants, and then I'm letting him do his thing. If it gets to a point, I'll just say, "Hey, finish the blower part, so that way I can put it on an engine while you're working on the engine." Uh,
Nice. Oh man.
yeah, Blake was saying nothing wrong with a 500 mile trip at 50 miles an hour. That's true too. Like I keep thinking, like, man, I'd love to drive the Jack Pine to the Lamberts thing Thursday night. And, they sound like they're going to leave early enough that headlights might not be an issue. And then when I was in the army, we used to do where you did the cat eye drive at night, where you're,
Yeah, yeah.
so you just focused on the little red dot lights on the back of the trucks while you're driving in total darkness. So I'm like, I'll just have Chris run blocker for me. And I'll just try to keep up with if it gets too dark. Yeah, there's only like that last stretch of the trip to uh, Jeffers that's kind of dark, but then the other thing too is like it's not even so much the gear. It's my converter is a little tiny 8-inch converter, so I mean I don't know how much heat I want to put into that driving all the way there with a 430 spool.
Yeah, yeah.
Riding with you in the
Or you'll
GM.
be beating me for the keys and taking them from me and driving it yourself.
So when you're riding around in a '69 Firebird cruising, do I have to turn my hat around backwards? That's a GM thing, isn't it? A Chevy thing.
No, no. I don't wear my hat backwards. No.
Yeah.
You have to have a mullet though, and you don't have a mullet, so you got a problem.
Damn it. Yeah,
You have to get a mullet wig.
yeah.
So
But that got a cassette deck in it, or what do you got for tunes in that thing?
I have a CD player in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. In the dash or in the?
No, it's on the floor. I still have the radio. The original radio is still in the dash.
Mm,
The original AM is still in it. It
yeah,
doesn't work, but it's still in it.
yeah. Well, nowadays, you just set up a Bluetooth in your trunk, and you can just leave the factory radio where it's at, and it looks nice.
Well, it's a dual, and it was 35 bucks out of Crutchfield, so it was cheap, and I just wanted noise. So
Yeah.
I just slammed it in the car. I'll upgrade it one of these days to something better. I just wanted something I could hear
Yeah.
because I drove around for like over a year with no radio in it, so and that kind of gets annoying after a while.
My
So
satellite little CD player underneath the dash, and that was kind of nice, but it just had like pretty much factory speakers, so it didn't sound that good. So I just usually take that little JBL cone thing with me, when I'm driving around.
no, I got some decent speakers in it. I got Kenwoods in the back of it. I only have rear speakers though. I'd like to put front ones in,
Yeah,
but that's at another
many,
time.
many of guys that want to restore cars hate the old cutting holes in the sides of the doors, you know, when you're putting front speakers in.
Oh yeah. I was actually going to get you can buy the old original speaker grills for the speakers that went in the kick panel because they're just
Mhm.
the square 4x6, and
Yeah.
I was just going to put them in the kick panel because the kick panels are pretty much beating this thing because they just
Yeah.
dried out and felt, they're not falling apart, but they look like ass. So I
Yeah.
didn't wasn't going to feel too bad about cutting them up.
I'm going to be a bad host and leave you on your own for just a minute, Chris. So you got to carry everything. All right.
I got to carry everything. It's all on me. Now he just wandered away for a minute, Dean. Trying to read the comments with a
Yeah.
blower belt.
Before I left, I saw J Boy join the chat. So that's awesome.
My speakers are 3-inch tailpipes.
What's that? What's 3-inch
I'm
tailpipe?
just reading it. I'm reading the comments. I'm just going down through reading the comments.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Um, but yeah, they've even made like really fancy like speaker systems that you can mount underneath your dash. In that, if you even just have the one speaker hole, is that what you were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. I could put like a dual cone speaker up in the original front hole in the original speaker hole, or
Mm.
I could put like the factory stereo speakers in the kick panels with the original style grills. And I
Yeah,
thought about going that route versus trying to put it up under the dash, which
yeah,
isn't a big deal. I can get to it. I got to pull the radio and I can get to it, but I just
yeah.
don't know what the sound quality would be on that.
Mm. Yeah, I miss those days. It's like when I kind of reminisce, about like back in like the day when you're driving around in your car, and you had your 6x9s in the back and luxuries like windshield wipers and heater
Nice.
all the options.
Yeah. I could actually put a thumb drive in mine, but I was going to try and go get some thumb drives and download some music off the computer, and
Mm.
I just haven't had time to mess with it. So,
And that's like the benefit of my truck. It syncs to my infotainment system in the truck, and it's got Bose speakers and that. So, I can make playlists and just like say what playlist I want, and it just will play all the songs on there. That's always pretty nice.
yeah, I don't know. It plays music and it does what it's supposed to do. So, like I said, I just didn't feel like spending money, a lot of money on a radio. I just wanted to get something in it,
Yeah,
and it was pretty cheap. So, for 35 bucks, I couldn't complain. It's not the best thing in the world, but it
yeah.
does the job.
And the sounds of the glass packs or the whatever mufflers you have, that always is
Oh
kind of
no, that
nice.
thing, dude, that thing's quiet.
Oh,
You
is
don't
it?
even, yeah, it's pretty quiet. It's got turbos on it,
Mm,
but it's pretty quiet. You don't really even hear it that much, really.
yeah,
It's actually pretty nice to drive because you can actually talk to your people in it without going deaf.
yeah,
So, but I got real small mufflers on it, and it's still pretty quiet.
yeah.
So, which is kind of impressive.
It's nice
And
when
I
you're.
don't have tailpipes on it. All I have axle dumps, so there's no
I was,
tailpipe on it.
things that I hate too. Is like right now, the main reason I didn't already load the car on the trailer is because it's late enough at night, in the cul-de-sac that by the time I woke up, there's little kids, in the cul-de-sac, so parents were probably putting them to sleep and that. And so, I always got to think about when I fire that thing up, it's like where are other people at it that time of night. So that's why I figured I'll just wait till tomorrow afternoon, about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'll load it.
Yeah.
I used to like back when I had a Harley, I would do the same thing. I'd want to go for a night ride, and I'd be like, "Oh crap," you know. My neighbors are all asleep, and I'm awake at 3 in the morning, but I don't think they want to be. So,
They don't want to
but
listen to your drag pipes fire up.
yeah, yeah. So to, you know, have a nice car you can just take out for a drive like that. That's quiet. It's kind of nice too. Yeah, I'll enjoy taking your Firebird. When I.
You enjoy hitting me over the head with a bat and then taking the keys from my prying
Yeah,
them out of my hands.
rented a 2-car trailer so I could bring both home. You know.
Oh, wow. Thanks, buddy. How am I going to get home? That's right. You're trading me the Silverado for the Firebird.
Yeah, pulled the jack pine home with the Firebird. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, Chevy for Chevy. That's the way it goes, right? Or
Jeez.
GM.
GM for GM.
I'd probably do that deal though.
Oh, oh wow. Jeez. What transmission's in the Firebird? M20 Muncie.
Yeah,
Wide ratio.
yeah. Well, that's why I love that old truck so much. Is like I think about whenever I'm going to sell it. Yeah, I get in it, and then all of a sudden I start shifting the gears. And as soon as I start shifting gears, I'm like, I can never sell this truck. Just mission. So
The only crappy part of the Firebird is it has no power steering, and that's kind of bitchy. So it's going to be a workout on the drive down, I'm sure.
yeah. But what way do you take down there? Do you?
I'm going to run down 81,
Mm,
which is going to run me through Maryland, into Maryland, and then I'm going to run into West Virginia,
mm,
and then I'll pick up 64, and that's going to run me into Kentucky,
mm,
and then I'll come down the Bluegrass like, Parkway or whatever it is, and I'll go through a little bit of Illinois. That's where we cross over the Mississippi at, and then I'll come into
yeah,
Missouri.
yeah,
So I can go out 70 through Cincinnati, but then that's all toll road.
yeah.
So because that's the Ohio Turnpike, I think, and
Yeah,
um, and then that takes you down and skirts around St. Louis and stuff. But that's actually a longer route.
yeah.
So this is actually shorter. This is 855, where that route's 870.
Mm,
So
yeah.
so it should be interesting. It wasn't a bad drive last year. I didn't
No,
think it was. I think the
drive
biggest
there,
problem
never.
is,
Drive back always sucks.
yeah, I'm not
like
sure
drive,
what I'm gonna. I'm not
by
sure what I'm gonna do.
by the time we got back to Cedar Falls, that last stretch, just that's the part that kills you. The first part's not too bad, but it seems like when you get within 200 miles of home, just kind of.
Yeah, just want to get the hell home. I'm thinking about maybe just trying to run it the whole way through on Sunday.
Yeah,
We'll see, because it says it's only they say it's saying that it's about 13 hours, 12 to 13 hours. So I thought, well, if I can get up early enough since Sunday morning and get on the road and go, I could probably be home Sunday night sometime because I have off work Monday.
mm.
And that might be kind of nice because then I can just sit here all day before I got to go back to work.
I always
So
plan. I always plan a debriefing day.
yeah,
Like I took
so
an extra Monday, so like drive back Sunday. I got Monday and Tuesday off.
So I'll see how I feel when I leave Sunday. You
Mhm.
know, it'd be nice to get home if I could do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Like
interesting. People are there Wednesday though. Sounds like a lot of people do plan to, but yeah, Thursday is probably when. Like I said, we'll probably get there about 11 or so, and then our trip. There's not too much scenic on the way. We go through St. Louis a little bit, but that's not too bad.
yeah, that one route that I would take with all the tolls, that would skirt me around St. Louis.
Yeah,
I just want to stay out of the big cities. I mean, the
yeah,
biggest city I go past is Lexington,
yeah.
Kentucky. So, and I don't feel like spending $25 in tolls. That's $25 I can use to feed you. So,
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I appreciate that. You got to figure that out if I'm going along. You got to have that little.
I have to have a little bit of extra
Yeah,
cabbage so I could feed Mark. Hate driving through St. Louis. I've never driven through St. Louis, so see you, Rooster. Your
I
sound
got
went off.
stuff going around in the background.
Oh, now you're gone. Now we can't see you. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I still? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're black.
Yeah,
Your screen. Did your screen go off or something?
yeah. I mean, on my phone it looks like I'm frozen, but
Oh,
on my iPad I just went black.
oh.
I don't know if the phone call did something. Oh, okay. So you can add a trying to.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
invited I'd invited Mopar Jeff onto the stream too. I sent him a link, and I think he was calling to see. And I can't figure out. I guess I should be on a computer trying to do this
yeah,
because you got more options when you're not in screen. And anyway, like I said, this is my first time, and I'm technology illiterate, so
yeah,
I don't know how to get my camera back. I'm trying to see if I could see him in like when you came, it popped up, so I pushed it, and then you were on screen with me, but then no.
yeah, guys. I'm going to avoid St. Louis. I think I'm just gonna just go the way I'm going.
I wonder if you can only do two people on this YouTube thing.
Well, that
It
could
let
be
me send one.
possible.
Yeah,
That could be
maybe it's kind of
possible.
that might be a limiting factor or something.
Oh, you live in St. Louis, Brian.
So on my phone, my only option is to cancel. Yeah, I'm not even sure how to get my camera back. Somehow it kicked me down.
Hey, Ray, you driving the 59 all the way? Or are you going to trailer it? I know you drove it last year. Driving again. Cool. Nice. Well, Jeff's in the chat.